All right, y'all, here we are, we're back. I know we may have skipped a few steps because we kind of got caught up in working on the radiator with the go-kart, but here's the side pod. It's all the body working is done. We've repopped the holes from the existing evidence that was on the inside. Or if you remember, this one was actually busted out. The Zeus itself was actually coming through the fiberglass here. But you could easily see where the original holes were at. So we went ahead and popped them in the same spot, and it should be relatively close, if not spot on. So that's it. We'll go ahead and probably 320 hand scuff all this down, everything we haven't sanded on, and then we'll run over top because this is all 80 grit. Body working thus far. Well, that edge looks nice. You know, there's some surface gel coat cracks that we didn't bother chasing all that stuff. If we were to do fix every surface imperfection, he'd have been better off buying a new part because it had taken that long. But we'll go ahead and 320 this down. And right now, as another tip, this is an old can of acrylic enamel reducer. It happens to be PPG, but all acrylic enamel reducer is approximately the same stuff. So it doesn't attack opened paint like a lacquer thinner would. It won't even attack lacquer paint like lacquer thinner would attack enamel or anything else, polyurethanes. So it's good to use to clean. If you don't have wax and grease remover, or DuPont's brand is called Prep Sol, to prep the surface before you put primer or paint on, you can always use enamel reducer. It's good, safe. Give it plenty of time to evaporate, especially when you've got surface cracks, because it'll get into those cracks. And if you don't let it evaporate real good, when you spray primer on, you'll see those cracks come right up through. They're going to anyway. You'll end up being able to see them anyway, but hey, the thing's all in one piece. It's a good, stout, strong piece now. It's got a good, solid bottom edge. Yeah, I mean, it's just good and strong. There's other places where it's not, where it could use more work, some cracking in through here. But it's just, it's not compromised glass. See, the fiberglass itself isn't compromised. It's just the surface coat or the gel coat that has been cracked. And that's the crack that you see there. So a proper way of fixing that, we'll probably bring that to you in another video. But you literally have to take, if this is, we'll use round numbers. If the thickness of the material is, say, a half an inch, you'd literally, to get rid of these, to hide these cracks forever, you would have to grind down into the thickness a ways and then lay layers of glass on to build it back up. You literally have to bury those cracks in the old material. I've seen guys, they take their little pencil grinder and they hog these little cracks out, then they fill it back in with stuff, and then they wonder why you can see all that stuff later. Why? Because you didn't repair it correctly. That's why. When something's been bounced off a wall, like this thing was all busted up, but the structure was still there, it's been compromised. You've got to work on both sides of that damage. So we're looking good right now. It's Sunday. We were hoping Mike was going to be able to come get it this weekend, but we had some things come up with a couple friends, and needed to take some time out of working on this thing to get some other stuff going. So they got plenty of time yet. They're not going to Topeka for another 2 weeks. They'll be able to pick this bad boy up sometime during the week. Jack works on his side of town, so he'll be able to come by and pick it up. Like I said, at this point, we'll hand scuff the rest of it down. We'll wipe it all down with lacquer thinner, let it sit and evaporate, and we'll take some spray bomb primer and put multiple coats on the stuff we've worked on, and maybe just one skim coat on the rest of it, Let it dry up real good, and then we'll hand scuff again, probably with 320 or 400, and then we'll just spray bomb can. We'll just throw a spray bomb on it. I mean, that's all that's on it right now is a spray bomb coating. So, trust me, it'll look a hell of a lot better than it did when they brought it to us. So, that's it. Sorry I didn't get to actually bring you the filling the edge in, you know, like this, with getting the goop off the tray and just cut, you know, just dropping it right in that long edge of that stuff we had up here. But you can see these marks were low spots after I put the first coating on and then sanded it. I put an X right where it's the lowest and then a circle. So here would have been okay, here and here would have been okay. In the middle is where the divots were, right? Same with this here, and this corner was gone. So that's the language I'm using here. Fill in this, fill in, you know, just a spot. So yeah, you come up with a little sign language like that when you do stuff like this, just so when you come back with the stuff all mixed up and you're in a hurry, you know where to put it and where not to put it. You don't want to have to sand all over the place if you don't have to. So that's it. Sorry I didn't get to bring you a little bit more of the hands-on part of this, but man, that filler you make yourself really is nice to work with. It's hard as a rock. It's as hard as the rest of this, if not harder. It will not shrink in the sun, even though we're going to spray paint it black. It could sit out in 100-degree heat, blazing sun, and this is not going to shrink or otherwise change its shape. Like if we used Bondo in here like this, you'd be able to see all of it the first time you took this thing out in the sun. So there you go. That's it for the side pod for now. We'll show you, the finished product when she's all done. God bless y'all. It's Sunday. I'm going in and watch me some evening church.